What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show, where we go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes Saturdays, not all the time Saturdays, like this last Saturday when we didn't go live. But you are here for the Monday live show. What is going on, everyone? We got a special day today, and that is because it is the birthday of another bro here, Mr. T-Shroom. T-Shroom, let's go. Let's sing happy birthday. One, a two, a one, two. I was just kidding. We're not going to sing on the show. That would be silly. But happy birthday, T-Shroom. It is so crazy. It's nuts is my brain was thinking, like, it's not his birthday. His birthday was when we went bowling, like back with Smay. And that was a whole freaking year ago. That is absolutely nuts.
It's wild.
Holy cow. Time has flown. You anything fun today other than some work?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we're going to go to Yamato's restaurant in Gainesville. It's like a Japanese hibachi. So going to have some family meet up there. Okay. And then also Amanda, my fiance, she surprised me today with we're going to go see Tony Hinchcliffe, who's a comedian up in Jacksonville this weekend. So
yeah, I have no idea who that is. Yeah, that's okay. Cool.
Yeah, he's a hilarious guy. He's got a show called Kill Tony, which we're
as long as he's funny, that's good.
Yeah, he is.
The worst comedians are the ones that are not funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, well, happy birthday. And you know what? In light of your birthday, here's what I think happened. T-Shroom said, enough presents for me. I want to bless the entire crypto community with sending crypto on sale to represent my birthday. So today, go buy some crypto and say happy birthday to T-Shroom while doing it. Guys, we've got some big dips here. Oh, my goodness. I got some right. I'm going to trade right now, and I was moving. I thought it was to my level. We can go off my screen here. I'm now trading all the time, pretty much, guys. This is really fun with Blowfin. The question I have for you, T-Shroom, do you Blowfin?
I blow fin a lot. Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good because I blow fin daily, and that's not an innuendo. That is the name of our trading partner here at Investing Bros. Now you can share my screen again. You guys can look at my trade. Look at that, up $103. Keep pumping though. Looking to take some profit right up here at this. This is the 5-minute 100 moving average, but what I'm looking for is that 30-minute 20 moving average. But if you guys are looking to trade, and you guys don't want to have to get a VPN, and you don't want to have to KYC, and you want to be able to leverage trade, well, do it responsibly. We always recommend your stop losses, use the correct risk to reward ratios. But Blowfin is the new one. It's going to be this is the hottest exchange that nobody's talking about. But I do think probably within the next 6 months, you're going to be using it, and everyone you know is going to be using it, and it's going to be awesome. They got some great things going on, but we also want to thank them for sponsoring the channel. They are our sponsor that you need to go check out with a link down below. Big topic today. Everything is on sale. Bitcoin dropped 10%. I use that keyword dropped. I'm thinking about potentially T-Shroom making a video where we and I'm going to make it up. Like, I don't know if there's technical definitions, but I'm going to detail what's the difference between a dip and a dump and a crash and a retracement, because a lot of times people see big red candles and they're like, oh, it's crashing. It's like, well, Bitcoin's only down 10%. Then you look at Cardano. Like, Cardano went down about 20%, but even that is 20% really a crash? I don't really think so, because when you go back and you look at bull markets, you see normal 30-40% pullbacks in a bull market. So I might need to make a video, and we need to decide, T-Shroom, you and I will meet up. We'll decide what are our numbers. What is a crash, a dip, a dump, retracement? We'll come up with those definitions. But before we get too far into this, we're going to be talking about Cardano, guys. Cardano is on sale. Most altcoins are on sale, but you guys know we love us some Cardano. Before we get too far, T-Shroom, in honor of your birthday, do you have a special quote of the day for us today?
I do. It is.
What do you have?
The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. And that's from your boy, Socrates, otherwise known as Socrates, the philosopher of Greece. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and in light of your birthday, I mean, you can't focus on the past, man. What are you building in the future?
That's right.
What are you most now? This is you're coming in now. You just joined me on year 29, correct? You're younger than me, right?
20. I'm 29. Yeah.
You're 20. Yeah, so you are not quite a full year, but like was it 9 months younger. What is your
Mhm.
plan for year 29, T Shroom? Other, and you're also getting married, so it's a big change in year 29.
Yeah.
What else is coming your way?
Well, this year, we've got a lot set up. I will go ahead and tease that we have been
Ooh,
writing a book uh, to
ooh,
help folks get interested in investing. And so that's very exciting. That'll be coming out hopefully Q1, maybe
okay,
Q2. That's still in the early development phase.
it is.
Getting married, as you said, and I think growth. I think 2023 was all about building the foundation for investing bros,
Yeah,
getting back on our feet after some obstacles that came our way. We were able to overcome those. And now 2024 and the year 29 for me, my age 29, is all going to be about growth and hitting 30 years old real hard,
yeah.
hitting with a good stride in our steps so that we can absolutely kill it. But yeah, I'm excited.
T Shroom, in the good old days, your life really didn't start until year 30. Everything up to year 30, you're just learning. So I got like 3 more months to learn. You got 12. And then our manhood starts year 30. That's when, like in the old days, that's when you could become a leader. You could, actually help other people. Like you could go do
Hmm.
things on your own. Everything up to that point, you were considered just a little kid, just trying to learn everything.
Right.
So you have about a year left, and big expectations from you. Big
Abs-
expectations from you. Let's get in here though, T-Shroom. Let's go ahead and look at the markets. Let's start off here with Bitcoin. Once again, guys, we're gonna be doing some TA throughout the show. So make sure you guys are putting into chat what you guys want to see some TA on, because pretty much everything went on sale, with the exception of OP didn't go on sale. It
Except
actually
OP.
continued to go to the upside. Optimism, after having a very explosive day on the 7th, it had a small retracement. I guess technically speaking, it went on sale previously with a nice little 16% pullback, but now it's to the upside. While everything else was turning blue or red on some people's charts, Optimism was going to the upside. Render really wasn't that bad either. But for the rest of the space, Bitcoin in particular, people were talking about this all over Twitter. We're going to discuss it. We did not hold up support level back here. I made a video this morning. I talked about how potentially we could, but I said we might make a dip down back towards that CME gap. We have not reached it, by the way, guys. So in case you are wondering, Tim, did we fill the CME gap? The answer is no. And if you guys are saying, I didn't even know there was a CME gap, well, here you go. We have a CME gap on the daily chart. Let's actually back this up so you can see it clearly. I want to make sure we're promoting good, healthy education out there. Anyone who tells you that the gap should look like this, they're lying to you. All right. So you just need to know that right now. Don't listen to liars. And they're not meaning to lie to you. They're just wrong. The gap does not start at the top of a wick. Let me explain to you why. And I've said this before, so anyone who's watched the channel for a while, you guys are going to know the answer to this. But when you're trading this candle right here, if you guys go back and you know what a candle communicates, you have an open. The wicks tell you where price goes throughout the day, but then you have a close. And in this case, the close is all the way here at 39,240. So we got to make sure we stretch it all the way down to that. Who cares what happened above? Who cares about that wick that goes up above? When the day closed on Friday, the 1st of December, the price of Bitcoin was 39,220. When we reopened on Monday the 4th, it opened up at 40,455, wicked down here to 40,300. So that's the top of our gap. But you do not go from the top of the wick, because that wick could have happened early in the morning on Friday, when in reality, we wanted to pay attention to where did the candle close and where's the gap. So if you guys are asking how far could Bitcoin fall to fill this gap, you're going to be looking down at 39,320. I don't know, I said 320, 230. I think I was dyslexic there. Now, here's a good question. Do we have to fill this gap? We did just come down. We did wick right here to about 40,000 and 400, give or take. Currently, we're trading about 4,900. I do want to say, guys, this is actually bullish long term, even if we continue to crash, because the current price of Bitcoin on Coinbase, or the average price on Bitcoin over indexes. This is the TradingView index, kind of takes into account the average price of Bitcoin across all exchanges on TradingView. The average price right now is 40,500. Well, CME price is 40,900. What does that communicate? It communicates that the open interest difference is actually bullish at the moment. If this price was lower than Bitcoin, that would be pretty bearish. If it was about the same, you're not really certain one with the other. But with the CME price being higher, consistently higher over this whole trend, we actually maximized out here all the way to 45,275. While on the index, the highest we actually got was 44.7. This is just communicating that there still is a lot more open interest on the futures market that are bullish. This is good indication that Bitcoin more than likely will continue to the upside, but we did have to retrace. I don't know, what is this? Was this a dip? Was this a retracement? I'm going to say it's a retracement. We're still setting higher highs, higher lows here. But I talked about it in the video this morning. In case you guys did not get it, go back and watch the video. It was a great video. We detailed a lot of stuff. But when you hesitate down here towards 38,400, 40,000 area, and then when you finally break through, you blast through like a bullet ripping through wet toilet paper is the analogy I've been using. You don't do that lightly. More often than not, I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but more often than not, when you've wrestled with an area, when an area has been a key level of resistance, and then you finally blast through it with a lot of velocity, coming back down to close the door, coming back down to turn that resistance into support is very common. And what happens when you don't do that very quickly is a great example of what we just saw happen with XRP not too long ago. XRP, those of you guys who remember, had a very fun July 14th or July 13th. I can't remember which day. I think it was the 13th. Yeah. Very fun July 13th. The price shot up 100% within 2 4-hour-long candles. So within a couple of hours, it shot up and everyone was convinced XRP was going to the moon. Well, I told you guys, hey, I don't know when, I don't know how fast it's going to happen, but you are going to need to see price come back down to a level and retest a former resistance level here around 55, 57 cents. Everyone said I was crazy. Well, sure enough, we took so long. By the time we actually got down to it, we'd lost a lot of momentum and we ended up blasting, eliminating all the gains from that July 13th. And we've now gotten back up above that resistance level and hopefully we continue to use this support. But it does look like we learned our lesson. This time we blasted through and we have come back down and retest that level as support rather than resistance. Well, same thing here with Bitcoin, guys. I don't know if we're going to blast up and go to new highs before this, but I am still feeling very strongly we will at least see another 39.7, probably closer to 38.5. And then more than likely we will still also see another level we have not retested. After hesitating right here in the $31,000, $32,000 range, we blasted through there again like what? Like a bullet through wet toilet paper. More than likely, we will see a revisit of this price action once again. The question is more of when, not so much if. Now, my point here, you might be wondering, Tim, do we have to go do that right now? And the answer is not necessarily. Actually, even right now, I want to see what happens the rest of the day, because as we are shooting this video, as we're doing this live stream, you'll notice this blue resistance level. We've been talking about this one for a while too. We had this kind of bull flag, this rising trading channel that was used as good support, good resistance, had a couple of fake outs over here back in November on the 9th and back on the 15th. But as a whole, you can see how many times we rejected on this line. Finally, we broke back through it here on December 3rd. And today we have come back down, wicked slightly below it, but as a whole, we're using this line as support. There's a potential chance here, guys, we don't fill the CME gap. There's a potential chance that we actually find support right here. We make a move further to the upside. Let's go to the daily chart here. We make a move towards what are some pretty important levels up towards the high of March 2022, towards 48,000, or potentially up into that $50,000 range, right there at the platinum pocket. There is a lot of liquidity. This is a new one that I've been looking at. I think, though, I have it set on ADA. So let's get this switch back over to Bitcoin. I'm going to type that in, though, for you. I have to tell you guys more about this. Come on now. What are you doing to me? There we go. Going to have to tell you more about this in the future. I'm working on potential. Okay, that was not it. That was not it at all. There we go. All right, we got to actually select it. This is a new liquidation map that potentially we might look into trying to get an affiliate or sponsorship with, but I'll keep you guys posted here. Let's go off the 12-hour. Let's go to the 7 days. This will give us a little bit better of a window. You will see that we have cleared a lot of liquidity, and there is a chance we come make a pocket down, pull down here to about, what is that price? 39,000, clear off this liquidity. I'm trying not to make it so you guys can see it there. But we still have a lot of liquidity. And let's go ahead and zoom in here and get T-Shroom and myself out of the way so you guys can see it better. T-Shroom, I don't know if you can move your box for just a second. There we go. We have liquidity sitting up here above 45,000 once again, and we still have some heavy liquidity sitting up here towards 48. All the more reason why we're talking about those targets. Now, do we make a move the rest of today and break down and clear all this stuff? There technically is also some liquidity sitting all the way down here towards 35, but you'll notice there's a huge volume gap right here. It would be probably unlikely for us to fall all the way down to 35 during this dip. We could make a little bit more of a push down here, though, again, towards 39.4, maybe even down towards 39,000 itself. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. But for short term, we are seeing some small support kind of playing in here. Let's see what just happened to my. We're zoomed in too far. That's what it is. We are finding some support though on this flag pattern right here. Watch again, 39,000 would put us close to maybe coming back down to the white level of support during this channel. That is the Bitcoin TA we're going to take a look at. We're going to do some Cardano TA here in just a second as well. But T-Shroom, I'm going to pause, get a sip of water. What are your thoughts? When you woke up this morning, you saw these huge bearish candles. What was your first instinct?
Well, I actually really like what Eric Wallen said is we're bringing the boats back, guys. You know, and
Yes.
what I was harping on this morning on the 9 a.m. show was you shouldn't be surprised. The only excuse for being surprised by this is this being your first time in crypto, right? This is the first month that you've been interested. Maybe you started, getting interested in late November. That's the only reason why you should be surprised here. Especially if you've been trading crypto, this move to the downside of 10% should not be a surprise. Bitcoin literally does this all the time, and volatility has picked up swiftly in the later half of 2023. So, that's been my thoughts is I'm not surprised. And now would be a really, really good time to start leverage trading, right? Up until now, Tim, you've been doing well in leverage. Now that we've seen kind of what the benchmark for a big volatile daily move on the 24-hour time frame is about 10%. Now it's a good time to have that kind of baked into your risk assessment, and now we can kind of move forward with some great leverage trades that I anticipate absolutely getting to very, very soon. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. Ultimately, I would say this is not the final dip. I think that we have further down to go. Whether that's going to be next week or in March, I don't know. We could just go sideways from here. It looks like, though, that we probably will get a test higher from here and then a test much lower. 32 is kind of what I'm thinking will probably be the bottom. And then from there, I think we'll probably head back up towards the end of January. That's kind of my thought.
Well, let's take a look at this. Before we move on from Bitcoin, let's take a look here. I'm going to go from this little wick right here. Currently, our lowest point, we're about down 10%. I told you if we make it towards 39, that would be closer to like 13% of a dip. I want to show you guys. I agree with T-Shroom. I don't think this is. I think whenever this dip does end and we start to move back to the upside, this won't be the final dip. Like if anyone's thinking like, oh, maybe this is the dip that everyone's talking about, like that pre-halving dip, and we'll just get out of the way now, and then the bull market can start. Let's go back here and look, guys. We've compared this, of course, to 2019. There's a lot of similarities here. Notice back in 2019, during this pre-halving bull run, right, we went up over 300%. But notice here, there's a couple different times, and I'm not saying we have to have the same repeat here, but this time we pulled back 20%, right? We pulled back down 20% right there. We made a little bit more of a push. We made a second pullback of this was 18%, so 20% and then 18%. Right there, close to each other's timelines here on the daily chart. I'm sure a lot of people were convinced, all right, that's it. We're done. We're done rallying. Well, I mean, of course, after that 18% pullback, the price would rally another 85%. Am I predicting an 85% rally from here, guys? No, I'm not. My point is we had another rally before the actual pullback. 20% retracement, 18% retracement, 50%. All right, we'll go ahead and call this one a good crash. We'll call 50% a crash, guys. Not a bear market. Didn't go down and set new lows, but crash. We'll call 50% a crash. And the thing is, I think there's a decent chance we do have one more crash coming. The question, though, is how high do we get? We had a little 8% pullback back here in November. This one's going to be, again, somewhere between 10 to 12% pullback, more than likely. If we can make a move up here into $50,000 territory, let's just say we get to 50,000. And I'm not saying we have to do a perfect 50%. A 50% pullback, of course, that's easy math. That's back down to 25,000. But if we even just came down here to the 31, that's almost a 40% pullback. A 40%. I don't know if we want to call 40% a crash or not. It's definitely a dump. It's definitely a big a bear run. But we could still see a rally to 50,000 and then a good 40 to 50% dump on Bitcoin before the halving event. All of this coming very soon. Now, here's the other thing of the timeline, T-Shroom. I will say, with the halving coming late April, maybe early May, I do think that March, I'm not saying it's impossible for that big 40, 50% pullback to come in March, but I'm still going to put my money on earlier than that. I'm going to put my money on January, and I'm still going to stick with my original assessment. Guys, if this whole bull run has been about ETF hype, the big crash is going to be based off of ETF FUD or ETF sell the news. Like if we're hyping for the anticipation of a launching of an ETF, watch them launch it and then have a crash. Back on my bullish shed, not a crash, just a fender bender. All right, well, we'll have to define our terms here, but quite a fender bender if we pull back 50%.
Yeah, and Tim and I have been harping on this again and again and again. Is it's been nice to see Bitcoin and other altcoins go up and to the right rapidly, right? It's been very nice to see that. But again and again, we've shown you this chart, right? And Tim has shown you his charts, but this chart illustrates very well that we are still months away from the halving. And as you can see, again and again, there's a lot of volatility in Bitcoin leading up to the halving. And it's not always up. It's been nice to see it up and to the right. And as I was hanging out with Army Piper this weekend, he was even saying that he's starting to get kind of scared because we're just going up, 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 and that's troubling. Well, now we're starting to see sanity come back into the market, and yes, I say sanity because I think that the upward movement that we've seen is inappropriate. It's been for where we are in the cycle. It won't be inappropriate for the actual bedrock argument of supply and demand and a decrease in supply when the halving actually takes place. That is not insane. That is appropriate. A price moving up and to the right as aggressively as we've seen it is an appropriate pricing of this digital asset, Bitcoin. However, what we've seen, there is some reason for it, right? We have the hype for the ETF. We have the halving coming up. We also have the 10-year treasuries coming, treasury yields showing a peak and then a move to the downside. Equities starting to trade sideways as we move to the end of the year, right? But ultimately, the big one, the halving, is not here yet, right? And we don't see that skyrocket in price until that event takes place. So it needed a correction. This correction is healthy. You shouldn't be scared. If it's your first time in crypto, welcome. You're in a good boat here at the Investing Bros. There's a lot of other great channels as well, but welcome. And you need to realize at the beginning, this is the beginning of your journey. You need to be very, very hesitant to invest in anything other than crypto, anything other than Bitcoin, right? And be very, very hesitant because there are loads of scams. There's landmines in crypto every step you take. But Bitcoin is safe. Buying Bitcoin on a good regulated exchange like Coinbase or Robinhood or Gemini or Kraken, one of these. Just stay on the very surface for a while if you're new to crypto.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't know how many noobs are necessarily here, but we urge you guys all the time. We're a very conservative channel, so you're not going to see us get crazy. There is a time to mature and get crazy. Like, I'm stepping in, doing a lot more leverage trading, doing some scalping, getting onto these crazier exchanges. Some of the best deals and some of the most money can be made in ways that are extremely risky. And so it's one of those things that's like, hey, mature as the market goes on. Don't try to jump in as a noob and get into the complicated details of crypto because you're going to get burned sooner or later. Let's go ahead and move on here, T-Shroom, though, into Cardano, and then we're going to open up. We're going to do our trivia question of the day. We're going to open up for some chat, for some news, and let's do that. So Cardano, I told you guys, it dipped today. It is down it dipped almost 20% here, 19.75%. I bought some this morning. I didn't just enter along. I bought some more Cardano, and here is why. The price could go lower. In fact, the price more than likely will go lower. But I want to bring to your attention two spider lines. This is a tactic I don't use all the time. I need to start using it more often because it hit perfectly right here. If you go back and you start to attach peaks and bottoms, like now I'm talking about the peaks. We'll in the future have to look at some other peaks and other bottoms to attach as well. But I went back to the tops of February and April, and then also the tops in November of 2022. And you guys will see when you attach the top of February to the top here in April, that hit just perfectly. This other day, when we hit 64, almost 65 cents on Cardano, we ran right into that spider line resistance, lethal. Then we pulled back. And I'm not saying we can't go lower. I'm just saying, isn't it kind of funny that that explosive fall we had is attached to the high we had back here in November of 22, connected to that high of April 14th. And that is where we found support. To me, that's a good reason to be buying right there. Now, guys, this is another one. I'm going to tell you, just like Bitcoin, not going to be surprised to see Cardano at least come back down here to 45 cents. Or if, I still think you're even looking at areas back towards 39. I think there's still a decent chance you're even looking at areas still somewhere around, if not below 30 cents. When we talk about a Bitcoin crash of 40 to 50%, guys, altcoins will be more severe. We're going to see some of these altcoins crash upwards of 60 to 70%, depending on how high they rally during this pre-halving run. But for now, again, we're not calling for a local top just yet. If something changes, I will let you know. I will update you and change my mind. But for now, I'm still seeing when we look at this, I should have shown this on Bitcoin as well, but look at how overextended we quickly got here. Despite the fact that, if you went into a coma a week ago and you woke up today and you saw 53 cents on Cardano, you'd be like, holy cow, what happened? Why are we so bullish? Well, over the last couple of days, this is not bullish. This is bearish. And yet, we're seeing a complete retracement of all of the indicators. Even when you start to pull up like Market Oracle Pro, we're having some things pull back here. Let's go to the hour chart. I do believe, maybe it's Bitcoin. I think we hit the 4-hour dynamic reactor, but we're seeing retracements here with the hourly chart. Okay, hourly dynamic reactor here. We had not touched that or seen these bearish flashes since all the way back here, December 5th. That's days ago now, 4 or 5 days ago. We had not had an hourly chart oversold mark since then. We are retracing, kind of regrouping for some bullish action coming your way very, very soon. So I entered along. I got out of one. I scalped along earlier today, got some profit. Now I'm in a brand new one because the price continued to dip down here. But Cardano's looking very, very, very good. Yes, some of the larger time frames still showing some bought signals. So I'm not saying that we're going to go crazy higher, but remember, we talked about this chart the other day. There is still a chance that we move a little further to the upside. We broke through that 60-cent range, which we talked about the significance of. Let's pull back up our Fibonacci levels here for Cardano. Take a look at some realistic expectations here. And again, if Bitcoin rallies, we're definitely going to see Cardano rally as well. I don't think Bitcoin makes a move to the upside towards 50,000 by itself. But keep your eyes on it. If we can break through that spider web right there, spider web right there. The 0.5 level sitting up at 80 cents. I'm still looking at about 70 cents is a nice region right here from the high we had back in June of 2022. Let's take a look at our fixed range volume profile right here as well. You guys will see a nice gap coming in right here around that 70-cent zone. So to me, if we can break back through 65, 70 cents and 80 cents looking really, really good. There also, of course, is going to be 75, 77 cents. People are going to talk about the hitting former support, maybe turning into resistance from back 2022. To me, I just kind of feel like get up here to 77, 78. Not going to be surprised at all to see a wick just touch that 0.5 Fibonacci level. Of course, again, this is with the thought that we're not done rallying, that this 20% pullback on Cardano, the 10% pullback on Bitcoin is just that. It's just a pullback. It's just a reloading. It's just bringing the boats back so that we actually can go ahead and move to the upside. But for now, I still have my targets. First level, 70 cents. Second level, 80 cents. After that, I have my long-term HODL portfolio. I'm not touching. I don't care if I could potentially double my holdings. I just don't touch that bag. But when it comes to my trading portfolio and maybe some shorter-term holding, it's going to be time to start taking some profit there around 70 cents, 80 cents, regrouping for, again, let's say we get up there to 80 cents. I'm not going to be surprised to fall all the way back down towards 30, and that's going to be somewhere around a 61, 62% pullback. That is normal, guys. Let's go over here and look at the last pre-bull market. Remember, we had a rally on Cardano all the way up here at about 320%, which is amazing. And of course, COVID took us way lower, but even before COVID was a problem for Cardano, we pulled back 71%. So I'm actually being very generous here by saying we're only going to pull back like 60 or 62%. Historically, we've had bigger rallies, but we've also had massive pullbacks, 71%. Out of curiosity, what are we up to now? I did not check this the other day. Now that we've hit 65 cents, how high does that mean? If you guys were perfect traders and you bought that 21 cents and you sold this 64 perfectly, that's about 200%. If we were to make it all the way up to that 80 cent I talked about, that'd be a 278% rally from bottom to top. Not too shabby. Not necessarily as good as what Solana did. And we'll talk more about Solana if you guys want to talk more about that one. But today, talking about Cardano, it is one of the more volatile coins, which means if you are using Blowfin, if you are trading, you love the volatility because volatility means there's stuff there to move on, to enter, to exit, to take profit. And speaking of take profit, we're starting to make a move back up again. Got to see again. I'm in a long right now on Cardano. I want to see a pull up here towards 54 cents before I take my profit. So we're going to continue to track that throughout the show. T-Shroom, let's go ahead and go back to BroCam. Let's get that trivia question of the day. We'll do some Q&A. We'll do some news. And we got about 30 minutes left, so a lot of show left.
Absolutely. I did want to...
Well, by the way, sorry, we haven't really said this. Guys, go ahead and smash the like button. We have not been talking about smashing the like button. We've just been out here giving you guys all the details. Got 121 of you in here. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. We just hit 6,000 last night, T-Shirt. I don't know if you saw that. 6,000 subscribers. We're not even close to Christmas just yet. We could easily get to 7,000 subscribers before Christmas. Hit that subscribe button. Get us up there. T-Shirt, what's our trivia question?
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and get into the factoid of the day, which is as follows, Tim. This is the best performing top 100 meme coin of the last 90 days. Is it Pepe, Snek, Bonk, or Doge?
It's not going to be Doge, and I don't think it's Pepe. Now, Bonk has had a great week. But I feel like when we're talking about the last 30 days...
90 days.
Well, that's you're right. My brain thought 3 months, and I changed it up. So thank you for clarification. When I think about the last 90 days, 3 months, I think it's going to be Snek. I think Snek is the one that's really outperforming. So I'm going B here. Snek, it could be C, and it could be Bonk based off of how crazy Bonk's maybe moved this week. But Snek's had some good moments here in the last 3 months. So I'm going Snek.
All right, he's locking it in, folks. Locking in Snek.
Gary C disagrees. He says Bonk. Well, sorry. I could be wrong. Like, it is my second choice, but I think the key there is you said 90 days. You didn't say the last 7. You didn't say the last 30 days. You said the last 90. Amelo Fellows thinks it's C, so no one's even agreeing with me at this point. Not making me feel too confident about my answer.
Tim.
That's bonkers, Tim. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get in here. Let's get into some news. Not a lot of news today. It's mostly about the big movements of the charts, but there is some news, T-Shirt. What do you got for us?
Absolutely. Well, the big one is going to be that on the 13th, there is going to be a Fed decision. But right now, it's the CME futures tool is saying about 98.4% likelihood that there will be a pause.
Another pause, yeah.
So that's good. That's what we want. Ultimately, we don't want to see, as a trader, right, as an investor, there's all kinds of different angles that you could say whether or not that's good, but ultimately, it's good for markets for the rates to not go up. Okay. Plan B has made a tweet that is really interesting. BlackRock would like to thank you for the cheap Bitcoin. So as you can see here, this is very blurry for some reason. Here, let me get a better image of this. Oh, it doesn't get better. Okay. Big players. But yeah, there's a support level, small traders, stop losses. We are busted, the little fish are saying there. So you got to love that.
Yeah.
And we've got a story here. BlackRock warns the SEC that classifying Bitcoin as a security could disrupt trading and lower its value, echoing Ripple's legal struggles. The world's biggest asset manager, BlackRock, maybe you've heard of them, they've warned the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission about the impact of potentially classifying Bitcoin as a security. They expressed these in their updated ETF filings, stating that such a classification could make trading and handling Bitcoin in the U.S. difficult. Difficult is doing a lot of work there, that word in that sentence.
Yeah.
Any SEC action declaring Bitcoin as a security would likely lower its trading value, BlackRock explained. They used the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple as a reference, reminding that XRP's market value fell from $100 billion to $10 billion after the SEC filed a lawsuit against Ripple and XRP.
Yeah.
There's some predictions that the SEC might classify Bitcoin as a security, and that is basically where this article concludes. But the crypto community is anticipating the SEC's decision, possibly in January, about that spot Bitcoin ETF.
Yeah.
So Tim, it seems to be FUD, but is there some truth to this? Do you think that there is actually a thought in Gary Gensler's mind that Bitcoin could actually be a security, and what would the implications of that be?
Yeah, well, we talked about this in a video I made last week. We talked about, the secret plan revealed, because remember, while Gary has been very adamant and vocal about his disdain of a lot of proof of stake coins, with the exception of Ethereum, calling them securities, whenever he was asked point blank about Bitcoin and Ethereum, he really didn't want to give a strong answer. And he kind of implied that he didn't think Bitcoin was, right? Well, the recent updates he wanted all of these investment firms to make to their filing, he wanted them to put something about, well, this is how this is going to work unless in the future Bitcoin is ever called a security. So he's playing this field that he's like, I actually want you guys, I want to leave it open for in the future for me to change my mind and call Bitcoin a security. Catastrophic. It would be absolutely horrible, absolutely very stupid for a plethora of reasons. But what I love here about what BlackRock is saying, and effectively it's Larry Fink saying it, is like, hey, you've talked to us about the warnings and the concern of manipulating price. You leaving this catalyst open, you leaving the door open to call Bitcoin a security could prove to be a drastic manipulator of the price of Bitcoin, could absolutely crash it. And then he referenced, look at what you did to XRP, taking it from 100 billion all the way down to 10 billion because of your FUD, pretty much. Because of your speculation and calling it out a security, you really suppressed and hurt that entire price action. If you leave this option open and then all of a sudden you start to converse and decide if you want to call it a security in the future, you could absolutely ruin people's lives. Like, there are going to be people who put their Roth IRAs, who put their work benefits, who put their life support and their future for their children into Bitcoin because it is the greatest, most valuable asset the world has ever seen, and it's just going to go crazy. He's pretty much saying, don't make this mistake, Gary. I'm warning you, you're going to ruin, like, if you're saying you're here to protect people's lives, you will ruin them if you come out here and flirt with this concept of Bitcoin being a security.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not often that we like Larry Fink, right? We're not big fans of Larry Fink and BlackRock, but for this one, I do applaud him and say thank you for this, Larry. Not for the rest of what you do, where you manipulate and control everything, but thank you for at least standing up about Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Well, to add insult to injury, there's actually a comment here from Alex Rod saying, with Elizabeth Warren, new FUD and the SEC will not approve January ETF, and it will be delayed, and Bitcoin will dump to 28K. Save this comment. So feeling very confident about his prediction of price for Bitcoin going back to 28K. Well, here's what he's referring to. Elizabeth Warren expands coalition for crypto crackdown bill. Okay, so I've found where they actually talk about what this bill does, because we already know that she's an opponent to crypto. We don't need to be re-educated again and again on that. The Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act would accomplish the following: extend Bank Securities Act responsibilities, including know your customer requirements, address a major gap concerning unhosted digital wallets, which allow individuals to bypass AML, anti-money laundering, and sanctions check. Okay. Direct FinCEN to guide financial institutions on mitigating the risks of handling and using digital assets that may have been anonymized using digital asset mixers, strengthen enforcement of BSA compliance by directing the Treasury Department to establish anti-money laundering compliance examination and review process for MSBs and other digital asset entities, extend BSA rules regarding reporting of foreign bank accounts to include digital assets by requiring U.S. persons engaged in transactions with a value greater than 10,000. Mitigate illicit finance risks of digital asset ATMs by directing FinCEN to ensure the digital asset. Okay, so this bill would essentially empower several agencies to gain muscle in how they can go after banks for not doing the will of the government as they handle and custody crypto assets for individuals, especially those offshore. So there's some stuff in there. I actually keep going. Sorry. There's some stuff in there that's like, yeah, there's some things that are actually needed. I don't disagree with every line of what I just saw. The problem is who it's coming from. And we don't want the Elizabeth Warren camp to be the ones defining these terms, right? And you can even stop there. Like, that's the problem, is that they're going to be the ones that define the terms if this bill were to be passed. I have a feeling that this will not pass, but, stranger things have happened.
I have a pretty good feeling this bill will not pass. It'll continue to raise a stink, and it'll have a cloud of mystery over what's going to happen with ETFs. And potentially, up to this point, guys, I have told you that I'm not necessarily convinced that January will be the approval of ETFs. I've left a possibility open. My latest prediction was I gave a 45% chance that we're going to pass in January, but that leaves 55% chance we're going to punt up until March. This is the kind of thing that could increase or be the explanation for why they reject it. Now, that will be bearish of Bitcoin's price. Can I guarantee you we're going to dip down to 28,000? I definitely see a route to them saying, guys, we still have concerns about Bitcoin. We're going to appeal to the judge to not approve right now. I know the judge says we have to make a decision, but we're going to try to come up with a rational explanation as to why we're going to punt down the road. And this would be a good reason. Like, we still have money laundering concerns. We still have money manipulation concerns. Give us a little more time to work with, all the companies about making sure we can keep any of that from happening. So while I think this could be a catalyst for why they reject in January and we could see a dip in Bitcoin, when it comes to 28K, by the way, I love when people put their predictions in here. Alex Rod, thank you so much for contributing. Love to see it. I think there's a good chance. I even gave you a scenario down all the way to 25. But I want to make sure I warn people, maybe keep some dry powder in case of a $28,000 or $25,000 level. But how much would that suck? Just stick with on this. How much would it suck for the price to only go down to like $31,000? And you've sat there and you've been a good little boy or good little girl and you've held your money and you're ready to go and you're saying, I'm going to buy responsibly at 28K, and that 28K purchase is way better than buying at 45K, but we only go down to 31. And then we hit that form of resistance, turn into support, and then we take off to the upside. That you don't want that to be you either. So while I understand the $28,000 price prediction, and I would love to see it, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to save all of my dry powder for a $28,000 Bitcoin. I'm definitely going to be putting some back into it around that $31,000, $32,000 level. And the other reason why someone asked earlier is like, oh, if you think price is going to dip, why would you say stay in now? Well, if Bitcoin does go up to $50,000, that's still a lot of room between here and there. Like, we're going to be at 40,000, potentially go all the way down to 39,000 and then shoot up to 50,000. There's money to be made there, right? So I probably won't wait all the way to 50. I'm probably taking my profit around 48. 48 to me seems like the right place. But as a whole, you want to practice good risk and reward ratios, and you want to say, hey, I'm not going to try to buy the exact bottom, and I'm not going to try to sell the exact top, because that strategy more often than not will kill me. What I want to do is try to predict where I think the bottom will be and buy in a little bit higher than it, just in case I'm a little off. And I want to try to predict where the top's going to be and sell just a little short of it because I'm going to be a little off, but I don't want to miss out and not buy in or not sell out and take my profit either. So just be careful, everybody out there. If you think that we're dipping to 28,000, that's great. But please don't make the mistake of thinking that you should save every single penny for a $28,000 Bitcoin because there's still an outside chance that 28,000 doesn't happen. Outside chance, though, is the key word.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you got a DCA. If anything that I've learned in my crypto career, it's that DCAing is the way, like 98% of the time, right? There are arguments against it, but those I haven't seen to be fleshed out and be strong enough,
Yeah.
guys. We're not going to talk about. We won't turn to the article, but there is another story that we talked about much more in depth this morning on the 9 a.m. live stream that I did. You guys can go watch that. We'll go much more in depth into a story where essentially Tether has been brought closer into the compliance fold with the U.S. government in freezing a lot of assets and wallets for people who have been on the sanctions list for the United States government. So that has both good and bad implications, but go ahead and watch that video on our page, on our YouTube channel for more information on that. But Tim, you ready to get into the answer to the factoid? I know you had something to say. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to tell people like just continue to think about things modestly. Don't compare yourself to other people. That's the other thing is like, don't get me wrong, we want to get the best returns on our investments as well. But I've seen too many people like complain about Bitcoin, be like, oh, Bitcoin's only gonna like 3 or 4x from here. I want to go buy this other coin that could potentially 100x. It's like, well, yeah, get some other altcoins, diversify, but always bring yourself back to be like, hey guys, if Bitcoin is like a safe 3 or 4x from here, you realize in traditional finance, that is like, that takes years to happen. Like, I'm not talking about 2 or 3 years. I'm talking about like 10, 15, 20 years for people to double or triple their money. Sometimes it takes, 20, 30 years for that to happen. So like anyone who's like shaking their nose at 3x, 4x for Bitcoin, maybe a 10x, 20x for some of these altcoins, because there's maybe some meme coin out there that's going to do a 300x. Don't do that. Don't be that person. It is good to double your money. It is good to triple your money. If you had $5, that's the other thing is don't think you have too little money to invest. If you can only invest $5, invest $5 and turn it into 15, and then turn that $15 into $45. And then don't think that you have too little, or don't compare yourself to this degen gem hunter who in 2 months is like always like 12xing his money. Those guys are awesome. Those guys are great. Get there, learn what they've learned to be that kind of person, but don't try to force it and be stupid with your risk to reward ratio because a 3x isn't good enough for you. 3x's are amazing. Learn to appreciate them, and that'll make it easier to chase the 20x's, 50x's, 100x's.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to our factoid of the day, which, unfortunately for you, Tim, was you did not get it right. It was bonk.
Okay,
so bonk was the answer. And so
that's how explosive bonk has been in like the last 7 days.
No, 90 days. So take a look at this.
I know, but I'm saying like its most explosive part did it explode longer before 7 days ago?
I believe so. So take a look at this. So according to CoinMarketCap, bonk is up 5,300%. SNEC is barely up. Let's see, where did it go?
It's not even on the. Yeah, it's
it
down there.
376%. So right after talking about being appreciative of what you got, these guys are doing insane numbers, and they're meme.
Yeah, dude, that's like almost a 5x. By the way, 300%, 376%.
Yeah,
that's a great
that's
return. That's
return.
A lot of money in bonk.
And this is quite a bit of a return for basically the last 3 months for bonk. Yeah. So bonk's chart, we can take a look at it really quick, just the simple chart, just so we can kind of get an idea. But yeah, this baby has been up and to the right, did most of the heavy lifting in September and October, and then since then has actually been flat. So September and October were really the months to get into bonk. So, yep. And for the noobs,
cool.
Right, if you're just getting into crypto, Bitcoin, stay in Bitcoin. We talk about these meme coins because we have a very educated audience. Our audience is very familiar with crypto. They've been in it on average longer than 6 months. But if you have not been, don't think that buying these meme coins is a good idea, right? This is for people who are deep in the community and are doing it because it's literally just fun and funny. That's what you do with meme coins. These are not investments, right? These are not. That's not what they're for. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that for those who, this is a time where people are getting wrecked left and right. Left and right. People are losing real money that they can't afford to lose, and it's sad, right? But this is the Wild West. Tim and I, we've weathered the storms, and we're confident in this space. But if you're not confident, then just stick to Bitcoin and definitely don't invest more than you can afford to lose in anything. Whether it's shares of Ford Motors or U.S. Treasury bonds, never invest more than you can afford to lose.
That's good. Good words there. And that's the other thing is like, I think I got a nice, I've never lost like a significant amount of money in crypto other than like, like where my portfolio was at the top of 2021, all the way down. I lost money, but I didn't lose Satoshis or I didn't lose Cardano tokens or I didn't lose, I've heard horror stories of people just losing a buttload of money. But one of the reasons why is because I do feel very fortunate about some of the first advice I ever heard when I bought my first Bitcoin. And I didn't buy a whole Bitcoin. I bought like half of Bitcoin. But this was just such great advice. It was, Tim, imagine you're taking your money out to a trash can. You're throwing it in that trash can and you're lighting it on fire. All right? If you throw money in a trash can and you light it on fire, you're never seeing that money ever again, right? So you're just saying, I didn't need this money to survive. I'm just throwing out here a wing and a prayer. I'm going to be okay. Then it was, hey, throw it in the trash can, set on fire, and then leave and do not check that portfolio. Do not check its level for at least 3 months, right? Great advice. Why? Because if you're new and you throw in a significant amount of money, you're going to be tempted to just kind of watch it. And the minute it turns red, you're going to be like, oh no, what did I do? How about I just ruined my life? Oh, I just lost so much money. I should have just held it in US. No. Crypto is a long-term investment, especially if you're new. I'm telling you, do not worry if you buy 1/10 of a Bitcoin and you buy it right now and then it turns red for like a month or two. I'm telling you, next year it will be green. Learn to invest for the long haul. Do not invest more than you're willing to lose. If there's a single dime in that trash can, that if that whole thing went to zero, you would be in big trouble. You put too much money in. But if you're okay with that going to zero, watch the benefits. If I didn't need that money, for me, it was $5,000, my first investment. I didn't need that $5,000. I put it in there. Sure enough, when I put it in there, within a matter of 6 months, it had tripled in price. And that wasn't even the top of the bull market. That was just where it was at the time. So I want to encourage you guys, think about the long haul. Don't think about the immediate. If you're prone to anxiety and craziness, don't check your portfolio every single day. DCA, get your money into the market because you know for the long haul, this is the right place to be. Speaking of right places to be, T-Shroom, let's go over here. We're going to answer some questions here in a second, but going to my trade, I'm getting really close to where I want to take profit. What do you guys think I should do? So here on the 5 minute, I've told you guys that 100 SMA it's sitting like a nice little spot to take profit. But I told you guys the other place I'm tempted is to wait for the 30-minute 20 SMA, which that's a little higher. That would take me a little closer to 54.2 cents or so, whereas the 5-minute 100 SMA is only sitting right here at about 54. T-Shirt, what do you think I should do? I'm up right now about 177. It's kind of flirting with that $200 range, but that's all money, guys. By the way, I entered this trade probably, I don't know, 10 minutes before live, and we're going to be up probably close to $200 here on Blowfin. Of course, if you use it, trade responsibly. I am using 20x leverage because I liked the TA on this. If you guys are in our Discord, I'm constantly putting stuff into the charts. When I like how things look, I let the chart know that I was going to be entering into a Cardano trade today. You got to be a member, though. You got to be a member to see that. But, Tisha, what do you think? You think I should go ahead and just take profit now? Do you think I should wait for that 5-minute 100 SMA, or do you think I should wait for the 30?
I mean, if you literally entered this trade 10 minutes ago, I think that you've.
Well, it's been like what? Like it's been like almost a whole hour now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take. I'm not going to tell you to wait. I think taking profit's probably the way to go.
I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait and see a touch of this blue line. So we'll go away from this. But again, one more shout out to Blowfin, partner of the channel. Check out the link down below. By the way, we don't talk about this. They're not only super cool in the fact that you don't have to have a VPN, you do not have to KYC. They have over 270 pairs. They use Fireblocks, the most trusted custodial wallet, to house your money. So if you're concerned, like, hey, Tim, is this one of those exchanges where I can lose my money pretty easily? No, the answer to that is no. And you might also be wondering how in the world can I get away with being an American or being Canadian or being... Well, at least at this point in the United States, there are so many larger whales to fry. They're nowhere even close to being sniffed by any type of regulation agency. If they ever do get regulated, they're going to apply. And so there's always a chance in the future this might be another exchange that you have to KYC or something. But for now and for the foreseeable future, this is the best exchange in the U.S. to be using. And if you're thinking, Tim, there's some others out there as well, I had a conversation with some of the team that is very well acquainted with the rest of the space. There's other exchanges, like, for example, MEXC, that we might be seeing MEXC following the suit of like Bybit and BitGet here very soon, where they might come into the crosshairs of the SEC and other regulatory agencies. They will be forced to KYC, and there goes your ability as an American citizen to use them. Blowfin, on the other hand, very good exchange. And again, there's no end in sight because they're so brand new. There's no picture in the near future of them getting cracked down on. Act on it today while you can. But T Shroom, let's go ahead and look at some chat here as we have about 5 minutes left in the show. Back on my bullish, said Tim just created a new username, DGen Gem Hunter. Is that not already I have to imagine somebody already has that username. Definitely. Let's see. Surge Party King Tech. The guy that gets 3Xs all the time probably makes more than most the Moon meme coin chasers. Yeah. Here, the thing about Moon meme chasers is they always tell you about the coins that hit, and they do like a 20X or 30X. They don't really talk or brag that much about the ones that just plummet in a rug pulls and go to zero, taking all of their money with them. So always remember that as well. When you hear these stories of people, like the people that invested in Bonk and they're up like 5,300%, it's a great story. But a lot of people that invested in Bonk and are up 5,300% also invested in some rug pulls and lost everything. So you always got to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Sometimes the conservative, slow approach is the most beneficial approach. I remember hearing there was this trading bot company a couple years ago, T-Shroom, that approached us to sponsor us back when we were doing coffee and crypto. And they had this huge sales pitch, and it was great. And it was like, if you had bought Bitcoin back in such and so, and if you had bought Bitcoin back in such and so, and then you used our trading bot, you would be up 230%. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that sounds awesome. And my brain is like, wait a minute, let me just do the math on that. Let's say I just bought Bitcoin the same date and just held it in a cold wallet this whole time. I would have been up 290%. So they were chipping me 60% by using this trading bot. It's like, all right, you think that their thought was also like, yeah, people are more likely to just let it sit when they see the movement. I'm like, shoot, but you're literally telling me your company is not even as good as a basic DCA and hold strategy. I think I'm going to stick with the safe route and then do my own trading as a human rather than letting a bot do it. Sometimes you got to think about that. Just time in the market is better than timing the market. Just buy and hold. Sometimes those are the more profitable investors than the guys who are constantly finding the meme coins and guys who are looking for the trade opportunities that 1,000x. It's like, yeah, there's some days they have a lot of money, but then there's other days they lose a lot of money. Be the guy that just makes it very slowly and consistently.
Yep, absolutely. And you might say, well, Tim, but you're leverage trading. But he's only leverage trading like a couple $100 at a time, right? Which is less than... Or are you doing more now? What do you...
Me? Oh, yeah. No, so just, I have some rules for myself. Like, to protect myself, I have not entered a single trade while using Blowfin with more than $500. I have I started off with about a $2,000 trading portfolio, ran it up to about 6,000, give or take. It pulled back now. I think it's sitting somewhere around 5,000 again. So, I've had some trades I lost. But I always set a stop loss and to take profit. And I usually end them early, which, by the way, I'm going to end this one up $200. I hit my line, close all, $200 trade, not too shabby. It's gone
nice.
Now. $200 trade. But I never trade more than $500 because in case I lose it, like that's just not that much money compared to the rest of it. Of that portfolio I started with trading, that portfolio, that $2,000 was a small percentage of my total crypto holdings, which I'm not going to touch. I'm not going to risk. I have bought. I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to let it hold for the entire bull market. I'm going to trade with a small purse and hopefully turn that small purse into a large bag throughout the bull market. But we'll have to wait and see how that one works out. But you never want to risk it with trading. You want to take money that you easily could lose, enter a trade with it. Again, I had a $2,000 portfolio. I didn't enter the first trade with $2,000. I entered my first trade with like $300. I turned that $300. That was a great trade. I entered. I over 100x. So I turned that into $400. That was extra $200 in the bag, and I just slowly grew the portfolio. But I did it in ways that, like, if I ever lost one, I didn't significantly kill myself. I could always regroup and rebuild. That's how you should think about trading. You're not sitting here like when you hear guys trading with like $100,000. My hope is that's because those guys are multimillionaires, and to them, $100,000 is not that much money. If you have $100,000 in crypto, that's all you have. Please don't enter every single trade with $100,000. Yeah, it's really cool. If you know what you're doing, you could turn like if I had $100,000 to trade. I mean, basic math, I could have turned that probably into somewhere around $300,000 in the last week that I've been trading. That's really cool to think about. Oh, Tim could have turned 100,000 to 200, 300,000. But the risk to do that, it's pretty severe. I could have also easily turned $100,000 into $20,000 if I didn't know what I was doing. So be careful.
We saw it literally over the last 24 hours. Hundreds of millions of liquidations. Those are people who were getting screwed. Some of which, that was a responsible amount of money for them to lose. Some of which they just lost their kids, payment for their private school,
Yep.
So it's complicated, guys. But overall, I'm very blessed, very optimistic about this day. And I've got a great birthday dinner coming up later tonight. And I'm sure I'll be getting lots of questions about Bitcoin from my family.
As we leave, yeah, it's true. You're going to see a lot of family for birthday dinner. As we leave, Meek Vision asked a good question. Said, any NordVPN link? Now, that's kind of funny because when you're using Blowfin, you don't need a VPN. But for anyone who's using an exchange where they'll need a VPN or anything else, T-Shroom, don't we have a link at least coming our way soon with NordVPN?
We do. We're setting up a partnership with NordVPN, and that should be set up this week. So very exciting.
And by the way, guys,
how did he know that?
I don't know. It's Meek Vision. I mean, he had great vision. And
that's true. That's true. He does have the Meek Vision. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Just though, don't even just think about VPNs for your crypto investing. In fact, that should be the small portion of it. The truth is, the reason why you should have VPNs is simply to keep all of your accounts secure. That's a great way to continue to, if you have hot wallets on your computer, if you have some exchange information, if you have any type of information that's sensitive, you absolutely want to be using VPNs to continue to protect all of your data, protect all of your crypto, protect all of your other documents you might have on your computer that have nothing to do with crypto. So we'll have that link up for you guys very, very soon. You can support the channel and support yourself. But check out all the links down below. We got some great ones down there. Click on them, explore them. These are ones that T-Shroom and I always are using. We're using them on a daily basis. That's something we're very big on. We don't really take sponsorships or affiliate links from companies we don't use. We think if we're going to support, if they're going to support us and we're going to promote them, it better be something that we want to use and we're going to use. So check that out. We'll have that up here probably within the next couple of days, Meek, and then you can use that link and get yourself a NordVPN account. But guys, that's all we have for you today. It is 4:02. We ran a little bit long, but it has been a blast. Go ahead on your way out, smash that like button, hit subscribe. You guys have been fantastic today. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more content. We got a great video coming out, an interview tomorrow morning that T-Shroom actually had with a good friend of the channel where we didn't release it, but they recorded this last weekend before the dump. It's all about what will happen. How far could the dump go down? You don't want to miss it. We will have our membership stream tomorrow afternoon, but we'll be back on Wednesday with another live stream in the afternoon. You guys have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego. Connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego. Connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.